Hello, hello, Sir David the Bard, and I'm coming to you from the court system in the state of Utah. Now, no, I didn't say the circus system, I said the court system in the state of Utah. Now, I don't want to pretend that Mormons can't do anything well. They can lie, they can deceive their members for 180 years about Joseph Smith and his magic stones. Helen Mar Kimball saw the magic stones, now didn't she? And the one he had in the hat. So anyway, Mormons have a long history of having their rocks in their hat. So anyway, I want to share something with you that I'm in a lawsuit. I'm in a lawsuit. And I want to tell you about the Utah court system. You will never see anything like this in any other state. Okay, here we go. I went down to have a colonoscopy. I like getting colonoscopies. It's fun. So I said to the guys, I said, hey, in fact it was a woman, I said to her, the doctor, how much is this going to cost? And she said, well, I don't know. I said, who does? She says, no one. How the hell do I know if I can afford this or pay for it? We don't know. So I said, well, listen, I only got so much Social Security, Medicare money there with my health plan. When you reach that point, even if that thing is sticking out of my ass, send me home. I'll drag it around for a few months until I can get enough money to pay. So anyway, she does a colonoscopy. Now, here's where I guess there's some question. One of the questions was, do you have apnea? That's where you stop breathing, usually in the middle of the night, and then you take a startled breath. It has a lot to do with sudden infant death. I wrote a book on this that never got published, but it's still accurate. 25, 35 years ago, I said apnea had everything in the world to do with sudden infant death. So anyway, they said, do you want to have a special therapist here for the oxygen? I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know if I'm going to have apnea when I've got something up my ass like that. I think I'm going to keep breathing heavy and hard. Well, they said, okay, let's go ahead and have him come in. So I guess there was an extra charge for that. They didn't say this is going to be an extra $150. Do you want to have air? I go, no, I don't want air. I'll just hold my breath. Just stick that thing in quick. So anyway, I get a bill. I think I got a bill once. And I'm going to tell you who this is, so you can avoid these people. The University of Utah Hospital. The University of Utah Hospital did the colonoscopy right up there on by the campus up there. So anyway, they said that I owed like $200 left over after my insurance paid. Well, I'm not sure that's really correct. And so, when you do my taxes in Utah, my tax return in Utah has never come to the house. It goes to the Utah government every time I have a tax return. The University of Utah is in cahoots with the Attorney General here in the state of Utah, and if you owe them any money, they take your taxes. I don't even claim tax. I claim taxes, but I let it just pay those bills. Anyway, I didn't get my taxes that year, so I thought, well, that bill was pretty much taken care of. I didn't get any other kind of notice. Pretty soon, on a Sunday morning in Utah, Sunday morning, I get, and I go, what is wanted? I open the door, and this son of a bitch hands me a lawsuit. Okay. I've been down this road before. So anyway, I look at the lawsuit, and it says you're being sued for $236, and 45 of it was charged to you because we couldn't find you. I guess they looked in Australia. I guess they were in Sweden. I don't know. But I said, the Bard ain't moved. You didn't need to find me. So anyway, they chalked up another 45 bucks on it. So it's $236 I'm being sued for, son of a bitches. So anyway, I try to call, and I try to get the facts, get the information from the hospital. How much did it cost? What was paid? What wasn't paid? Nothing. Nothing. So the collection agency, Recovery Services, Express Recovery Services, they're one of the most ruthless Nazi type of collection agencies, and they need a boot up their ass. Bard wears boots, so the bastards said, you know what? It's certainly a lot easier for the common man just to pay the $200 and forget it. Just go fuck it. You know, they're going to harass me, they're going to do this, they're going to do, and I don't need this in my life. Well, I do. I love this kind of stuff. It keeps the Bard going, so sue me again, you guys. So anyway, they turn it over to their attorney. And what's his name? Perry, P-A-R-R-Y. Screw him. Screw him. I think he's dumb as a rock. I think he's dumb as a rock. Let me give you some examples. You can't sue for slander or libel if it's truthful. So here's Mr. Mickey Mouse and Edwin Perry. That's who his name is. He files the court papers in the wrong court system. He goes up to the wrong town. He files it up in Farmington, Utah. Well, a long story short, I tried to get information on how to know if this was a legitimate debt. And the way these two agencies, the University of Utah and Recovery Services and Edwin Perry's law office, I couldn't get shit. I couldn't get shit. So, you know what? They're not used to common citizens going, whoa, whoa, I'm being sued. I'm going to sue you back. Unheard of in Utah. Unheard of. So, you have 21 days to answer the allegations. You owe $236. I have 21 days ago. No, I don't. Send it to the court. Send it to the opposing counsel. That surprises them right there. That surprises them because most people don't know that. Most people are just, you know, collection agent attorneys. I love them. Bring them on. Bring them on. You know, the Bard, I buy new boots all the time. New boots all the time. So anyway, I try to call the court systems back and forth, day and night. I can't. Every Mormon has an answering machine. And it basically says, I don't work. I don't care. I'm going to the celestial kingdom. Screw you. So I'm working here. Sometimes I'll spend a half a day getting a phone number. And let me tell you something else about the Mormons. Try to go look up their codes in the computer. Websites that don't work. Round and around answering machines that go on for hours and hours. And then finally, one of them doesn't even say, please hold. It just says, in fact, it's the Farmington court. It says, we're too busy. Call back another time. You bastards. You're public employees. This is a court system. So I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy in the Utah court system. In California, man, you know, it's a white man's world there. No offense. Not that there's anything wrong with being brown. So anyway, you have 21 days to answer. So I answered, and I said, you know, I don't know this money. Now, here's what you don't know. And I wish every consumer knew this, because these bastards who treat you like in Nazi Germany need boots up their ass. Not just from the bar. They need little boots, big boots, medium boots. There are several processes in the law that are pretty simple. They're pretty simple. You write back to them the answer. It's called the answer. I don't owe the money. Now you have a right to more motions, because now it's a court hearing. I mean, it's a court process. When they sent me the service at the door, there was no case number. Never heard of such a thing as serving a pretend or a future lawsuit. Only Utah. Only Utah. So, after you answer these assholes, then you can say, send me all your documentation that I owe this money. It's called subpoena, duces tecum. It means present materials. And you can name what materials on this such and such a date, this hospital. You can name a duces tecum, and you serve it on the court, and you serve it on the opposing counsel. Now, they have to send that back to you, or they're going to be in contempt of court. Now it becomes busy. For $200, these people are now $400 or $500 behind. Okay, so you send them a subpoena, duces tecum, and you get all the information to help you defend your lawsuit. Now there's a couple other tricks. The bard loves tricks. I have tricky boots. They have like those little spikes on the end of them. Anyway, there's things that are called interrogatories. You can write 100 interrogatory questions. File them with the court, file them with the attorney of opposition, and they have to answer all those questions. Any questions you want that are related to the case. That's fun. That's fun, because it takes them days and days and money and money. Okay, now one more. A deposition. A deposition, you serve on the court and you serve on the opposing counsel, and you can talk to pretty much anyone that you want that is related to the lawsuit or have knowledge of the lawsuit. Now, the thing with a deposition is more expensive. Okay, you've got to call a little gal, usually, sometimes they're men, court reporter in your town, and you say to them how much to come to a deposition. They'll say $75 to show up and $3 a page. Say, okay. So you pay them $75, and then they come to the little library or the courthouse, wherever you decide that you're going to do the depo, and usually the attorney, the opposing attorney, shows up, and the witness that you've asked for. And so then you can ask them any questions you want, and the court reporter is taking down all the information. So you have that as evidence to present in court when your case comes up. Now, you don't have to pay the $3 a page until you want the report. The little gal will go home and she'll put it on her machines and whatever, and she'll have it word for word. And she is an officer of the court, which means it's legal. That is a legal document. So anyway, now you have that, and you have your interrogatories, and you have your subpoena duces tecum, and you have all your information. Now, that's the way the law is, so that you can present a case. Well, let me tell you how they do it in Utah. First of all, the Express Recovery or Recovery Services, let me get the right name, because I don't want any of you writing or harassing or, don't get me in trouble. I'm just giving you the report here. It's called Express Recovery Services Incorporated. Thank you, Secretary. That's like my lightmen. Alpha and Omega, they're gone. The secretary, Miss Boozy, she's gone too. So one-man show here, folks. So, in Utah, the Recovery Services decides they're going to sue you. And so they bring in an attorney that can't do anything except collections. Never appeared in court. Passed the bar at 001%. And only works on Tuesdays on the third month of the second eve of the odd holidays. You don't know shit. And so they send it to the collection attorney. Well, he's got a process. So what he does is he makes a fake lawsuit. It's fake. It's a fake lawsuit. I didn't think anyone in the world could pull this shit off and find that it's ethical or find that it's legal. But it's the Mormons. So now he serves that fake lawsuit on me. And I go, where's the court number? What's the case number? And how come there's not a judge or a clerk that signed this? And it says in the first page, if you don't pay this in 10 days, this will be filed against you. And you need to call the courthouse to see if it's been filed. Now the responsibility is on me to serve myself. Only in Utah. Only in Utah. So I let the time go by, and I called the court, and I said, hey, did Mickey the Mouse or Jack the Ass, excuse me, Jeffrey, no, what's his first name? Edward the Perry, did he file this in court? And they go, yeah, he did. I said, okay, what's the case number? They go, we don't have one yet. Jeez, how can you file something in court without a case number? So anyway, a couple more weeks go by, and I finally get the case number. See, I have to do all this by the opposing. The plaintiff is supposed to do all this in every state. So now it's filed, but it doesn't have a case number, and it doesn't have a hearing date. How do you do that? Is it a lawsuit? Is it a lawsuit? Is it filed? Does it have a number? Mickey the Mouse? What kind of Walt Disney production is this court system? So anyway, I just try to get along. You know the Bard. I try not to make any waves. Only tsunamis. Anyway. Now, I got a court number. Here's the other thing you do. You tie these bastards up so they won't believe how much money they're losing suing you. There are things called motions, okay? Not emotions. Motions, okay? A motion is a request of the opponent filed with the court and with the court. So I made a motion to dismiss. So the judge has to hear that motion, ask me what my purpose is, and make a decision on a motion hearing. Does that get dismissed? They sued my sweet wife. It wasn't her bill. It was me. It was an elective colonoscopy. And in Utah, and most other states, husbands and wives are not legally responsible for the other person's medical bills. That's code. Try to find that code in Utah. The code that's going to come up in Utah, mostly on the computer, unless you're, a Bard, is the one that says, well, if you're getting divorced and the children need medicals and the wife has had a problem, or the husband, in the divorce, the judge will consider that all community debt, which is probably a right thing to do. But Section 35 of the Utah Code says the husband and wife is not responsible for each other's debts. So, he writes to me, and he says, the attorney writes to me and files with the court that it's case code number 357036, I forget. In fact, I can tell you. You're not interested. Anyway, so he's using the wrong code. He's thinking, or pretending, that my debt is her debt. Now let me tell you about Sweet Mercy. This girl had never seen a banking account or a checking account 8 years ago when she came to the United States. She could hardly speak a word of English. She got a job. She's still on the same job. She has now never bounced a check. Never had any negative report on her credit anywhere. She's bought houses. She's bought new cars. And she is immigrating her parents to this country. And for these Nazi bastards to consider her responsible for that debt, I said, oh, no, she's not. They said, oh, yes, she is. You bastards. So here's what they do. They go to our FICO scores, and they hit both of our FICO scores for collection. Mercy's never had a collection. Never. Took her FICO score down 100 points. Now the Bard is pissed. Now the Bard is pissed. Because it's Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. There isn't a judgment. Nothing says that I owe them that money. I put a letter back to the court and to them that I don't owe that money. They go, fuck you. And they hit our FICO scores going, that'll put pressure on them. That'll put pressure on them. Well, it doesn't. So I filed a motion to what we call bifurcate, which means separate, bifurcate. They have to hear her case differently than my case. And then I filed a motion to dismiss, and then they had to file a counter motion not to dismiss, and now I'm really pissed. So here's what I did for $200 debt. I countersued them for $49,500. There's rules. Is it under 50,000? Is it over 20,000? And the Utah rules of the court are different. So I had that served on him. And I not only served the attorney as an individual, okay, he claimed he did due diligence, that this was a legitimate debt. He didn't do due diligence. He lied. That's fraudulent. He also knew that this case was being adjudicated, and to treat it like a default judgment, that's the only thing the guy knows. As long as everyone bows their head and says yes and pays him money, he thinks he's an attorney. But now he's got to go to court and defend. When I asked him in court, what was the due diligence that you did? And I will have all of the paper and all of the bills in front of me showing, that's not a legitimate bill. Anyway, they hit her credit. So I countersued him. I sued him. I sued Recovery Services. Now, you have to separate these people. You have to go Edward Perry and then put the next one down, the Recovery Services, and then the University of Utah, and then 3 people he named that he was going to call to court. I sued them too, because they must know something. They must have something to do with what's going on. And then you put in there, it's called a counter complaint. File it with the court, file it with the opposing counsel. And then you put in there DOES, D-O-E-S, 1 through 10. Okay, DOES 1 through 10 means there's more people that you're going to sue, but you just don't have their names yet. That scares everybody. And I found a DOE. I found DOE number 1. So, wait a second, I have to unlock my door. My criminal wife, the Mercy Bear, is coming to my door. I certainly would never walk off stage. There she is, the criminal of the collection world. Could I get a glass of water, please? So anyway, there are many things that the simple citizen can do. You're called pro se, P-R-O-S-E, I think, and improper, I-N-P-R-O, per, P-E-R, means you're defending yourself. Now, what's the attorney do? He's being sued. Does he have to get an attorney? Ethically, he does. He's not supposed to defend himself. And Recovery Services, do they have to get an attorney? But he's their attorney. He has a vested interest. He's not ethically supposed to now continue. Now, does the University of Utah have to get an attorney? And does the people that were named individually, do they all have to get attorneys? You, as the public, use your rights, know your rights, and basically stand up for yourself against these kinds of Nazi. Here is, look at this. She doesn't want you to see her handing me the glass of water. Thank you, honey. If every one of you out there had the time, the money, not a lot of money. Now, if you're poor, it's better if you're poor. If you're poor, you go in and you get a piece of paper from the clerk of the court, and you put, it's called a waiver of fees. In other words, you list your assets, you list your income. I'm poor, I don't have any money, I can't afford to do this, and the court says, okay, you can do it anyway. It's called a waiver of fees. So don't worry about money. Money has nothing to do with this crap. If you can get in a position that you can get a waiver of fees, especially. So anyway, now we have a pre-hearing. I think there's a word for it. It means it's not really the full hearing. What it is trying to get the parties to come together and reach what's called a stipulation. Stipulation's easy. It just means 2 people agree. This is the way it is. We agree and we sign off. Here is the brilliance of getting these damn Nazis. When they sued me, they're driving the bus. Pull over! We got the Bard! We got the Bard! Well, let me tell you something. They did. They were driving the bus because when we go to a pre-hearing, they're going to say, well, we have all the cards. If you pay $100, we'll just drop the whole thing. That's what they're going to try to do. And most of the time, that happens. Here's what they don't know. Now, they won't watch the Bard. Social Security is exempt. 100% exempt from debt collectors and debtors. So you get a judgment, say you get a $1 million judgment against somebody who's only on Social Security. You can't collect it. It's impossible to collect. You spend all your time, all your money to get boo-boo. Now I'm going to take a break here and tell you a joke, and then I'll get back to it. There's this guy, and he went hunting, duck hunting, and he found a duck in the sky, and he shot it, and it fell down on the farmer's ground. He went over to get his duck, and the farmer, who owns the ground, came up to him and said, hey, you know, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm getting my duck. I shot it. The farmer said, yeah, but it's on my ground. I own it. He says, we have a way here in the farm belt of determining who gets the duck. And so the city guy goes, well, all right, tell me, how do we solve this problem? So the farmer says to the city guy, well, you just open your legs up and I just kick you as hard as I can in your nuts, and then I will open my legs up and then you can kick me as hard as you want in my nuts. I go, oh, it seems pretty fair. So the city boy says, okay. So he opens his legs up and the farmer just, you know, sends him into orbit. So he wakes up, you know, 18 hours later or whatever, and he says, okay, to the farmer, he says, okay, now it's my turn. And then the farmer says, oh hell, you can have the duck. So, it's a good joke, I think. Anyway, the creditor will come to damn, I wish I knew what the name of that, it's a pre-trial, but that's not the name they call it. Anyway, and they'll go, well, you paid 50 cents. So the last time that I had a creditor take me in was Carthy's jail. I was with Joseph. Anyway, he took me in. He goes, tell me all the jewelry you have. I go, well, I have this wedding ring, but I got it for 22 bucks. How many cars? 0. How many houses? 0. How much income? 0. I went through the whole damn thing, 0. He came down to the end, he says, Social Security. I said, yeah, I got that, but you know that's exempt. And I know it's exempt. Well, that's true, but don't you feel guilty? See? Mormons. Guilt. Fear. Don't you feel guilty? You want to pay this? You know, no, I really don't. I don't want to pay and I don't feel guilty. You can go. Thanks. So I walked out. So anyway, this guy's not as smart as the last one. So he could stop this lawsuit at any time until the counter complaint. Now who's driving the bus? The consumer. The Bard, and I got my boots on. I got my boots on. So now when we go to the little pre-trial hearing, they're going to try to say, well, can you, you know, they're going to try to negotiate out. I say, no, I'd really like to try it. So what? And they'll do the Reformed Egyptian. The legal lawyers in Utah, they know the Reformed Egyptian dance much better than most of the common people. He's screwed. Because if I don't withdraw my complaint, it goes to a trial. It goes to a hearing, a full trial and a hearing. So after the pre-trial, if we don't come to an agreement, then they'll set the real trial. And they'll ask us, you know, how much time do you need, an hour, whatever. And so now I can go in and present that he's damaged Mercy's credit, that he treated an unadjudicated debt that was in the court system as a default judgment. That's all these attorneys know about, is they file, and if the person doesn't say anything, then the court said, yeah, the person had a chance to rebut this, and they didn't, so now they owe the $236. Always object. Always say, always answer a lawsuit. I'm not guilty. Now it clicks into a whole new machine of the legal system. If you just shut your mouth, you bend over and kiss your ass goodbye, you're going to lose your money and your kids and whatever. So anyway, we have a hearing here in the next 2 or 3 days, and I'm excited to go in and meet Jack the ass. He's going to have a look on his face, and you know, attorneys are going to threaten you. They're going to try to come in with some kind of in order to that you're being sued by President Obama in a federal court. Don't be afraid. It is the United States. It is the right to defend ourselves. And this damn court system, when I went in to file a counter complaint against a creditor, they had no idea how to do this. I guess the Mormons don't stand up for themselves. They just bow their heads and say yes. And then they said, the court system, clerks of the court said, do you want to make a payment? I said, a payment to what? Says, well, we take care of all the debt collections in here. I said, the taxpayers pay for you to have an entire system of money coming into the court? When this is private money and private accounts and private attorneys, isn't it their responsibility to collect their own judgments? Well, I don't know. I can't tell you how many I don't knows, or we've never had this before, that I've heard. So anyway, I'll keep you informed. If I quit broadcasting, or if you see jail bars up behind me, you'll know it didn't go well. It didn't go well. So anyway, stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. If somebody's trying to cheat you or overcharge you, when I find in the hospital bill that they charge me $25 for a Band-Aid, I'm going to object to that. And now that the charges all are different. So the original suit now is not $236. So anyway, stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid of attorneys. Don't be afraid of the courts. Don't be afraid, and just ask questions. Just ask questions. And I'll keep you informed. Keep you informed. So, pay me, lay me, and ill me. Oh God, hear the words of my voice and help me win this lawsuit. Don't cut my throat. Don't tear out my heart. Don't tear out my guts. And I'll keep you informed. This bar's gone.